Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here. Full disclosure, this is the third time I'm recording this video. Just letting you guys know. All right, so we're going to talk about UFC. I think it's 104, Las Vegas 104, Fight Night. Vettori versus Dolidze Part 2. But you guys know the deal. I give away the main event and the first fight of the night for free. If you're an MVP, you get all the videos. If you're not an MVP, get to Patreon or YouTube, join the channel, do what you do. Become an MVP. It'll change your life. We've been picking these fights for a couple years now. This is what I do. Pretty good at it. So let's talk about the early prelim fight. It is Yuneisy Duben versus Carli Judice. Yuneisy Duben, 6-0, 100% finish rate. Carli Judice, 3-2, never won in the UFC. And then you see the line. It says minus 390 and plus 290. So essentially minus 400 plus 300. What are we doing? We're predicting an undefeated fighter is going to lose and lose bad. She looks like she doesn't have a chance in the world. But if you go to Tapology and you see what everybody else is predicting, everybody's on Duben. Everybody's on Duben. And the first thing I'll tell you guys is I can understand an argument for both girls. I really can. And I respect if you want to put your coin on Duben, I understand it. I get it. But I want to remind you that sometimes fighters aren't as good as their last knockout or their last performance. It just might accentuate it immensely. So I'll start with Duben because she's a super exciting fighter. 100% finish rate, lifelong martial artist, used to do Taekwondo, then transitioned to some Kung Fu and some other shit. And what I saw from her in the cage initially, before the fight, when she was a plus 1,000 underdog, okay, in her Dana White Contender Series, I apologize, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Dana White Contender Series, she was fighting this girl named Shannon Clark from Canada. This housewife here, this mom who should be making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She was fighting this girl, and the pre-fight odds were for Duben to win by TKO. It was a plus 2,200. I'm not joking. Shannon Clark, being a minus 1,800 favorite, she better have superpowers. She better have, I don't know, she better have something going. She better be glowing, right? There's no way in the world she should be a minus 1,800 favorite, and she was. Shout out to Chernobyl, because you need something like that. And she was in phenomenal shape. But she was in phenomenal shape sleeping, snoring. Is a one-punch knockout. Nothing else needed. One punch, and she's snoring. And, of course, Dana White's out of his seat. So what you're looking at here is Duben has one-punch knockout power at 125 pounds. As a woman, she's knocked everybody out. And the problem is, who has she fought? She's fought a bunch of Uber Eats drivers. She fought a bunch of Lyft drivers. Bunch of girls on Pinterest. I always say cab drivers, right? She's fought a bunch of nobodies. And if you go watch those fights on tape, they look terrible. But you got to remember, those fights were years ago. She was fighting back in 2019, took a break till 2024, then fought. But she still has innate knockout power. Innate, meaning you were born with it. She has this ability to just put it on you. Now, she doesn't have this ability to pour it on you. Be careful. If you go back and watch that fight against Shannon Clark, it's 1 minute in. She's pretty winded. She's pretty winded, and everybody's under the assumption she has no cardio. I have no idea. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a capper. I use analysis. I use data. I apply it all, and then I give you my analysis. But I can't predict something I've never seen. She's always winning every fight in the first round and putting people to sleep. And yes, she put Clark to sleep, but she was a little slow. She was looking winded. What does she do well? She's an orthodox fighter. She's a right-handed fighter. She actually switches her stance when evading strikes. Really cool stuff. Shannon was trying to close the distance with her. Shannon Clark was trying to close the distance, put her chin in the air, and try to go do this thing. And it was not happening. You're getting loaded up. You're getting rocked. And she knew right away there's a power differential here. And that was an undefeated fighter who was stopping everybody, only had one fight go to decision. So now you have this monster of a fighter who everybody likes, crowd favorite, won people a ton of money the last time she was in the cage. And she's fighting Carli Judice. Complete opposite. Carli Judice, softball player. Former softball player turned MMA fighter. Got to the UFC with a bunch of regional wins by knockout. And then she's just throwing a bunch of pillows. She punches like she's trying to swat away a gnat or something. She ain't trying to hurt anybody. No, she's a pacifist. If I threw 300 punches at you, I don't know if you'd be okay. I don't know if anybody near you would be okay. But 300 strikes from me, your whole family tree might come up missing, bro. 300 strikes and you're still breathing, we got a problem. Carli Judice throws over 300 strikes every single fight, and everybody's okay. She's losing with 300 strikes. Now, she's very hittable. In this particular fight, her opponent, Ernesta, who's a swimmer, went out there and threw 440 strikes. Watch the fight. You can watch it. It's on ESPN Plus. It's just two girls doing this. They're fucking doing. They're patty caking that shit, bro. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. I don't know what they're doing, but they ain't scrapping. They're not fighting. All this red is a false nonsense. She doesn't wear damage well. She wears damage like, you know, you see a really white person and you slap them. I don't know if you guys have ever slapped a white person before. Let me tell you how it works. They turn red, and then it just stays there, and you can see that mark. Kind of like slapping somebody's ass. Most asses are white out there. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Some of you guys get nervous around women. But Carli Judice wears damage. It doesn't look good. But, man, can she just throw a bunch of strikes. And then you have her here in her last fight against Gabriela Fernandez, a much stronger fighter, somebody who's physically in shape. This is a professional fighter right here. So when you look at the level of competition that Carli Judice has fought, she fought two UFC caliber fighters, two UFC fighters. And you look at Duben, Yuneisy, she's fought a Canadian housewife. No different from the other Lyft drivers that she fought. So what Vegas is telling you is this is a UFC caliber fighter. Now, she hasn't won a fight yet, 2 split decision losses, but if you're out here throwing 345 strikes in every single fight and nobody's getting hurt, that's a problem. Now, she did show some ability to wrestle in this fight. Wrestle, get back up after a takedown, get a takedown. She looked like a more complete UFC fighter. The theory here is that she's going to drown Yuneisy. Drown her. 3rd round. If that's the case and you feel that way, this is a live bet opportunity for you, just like last week when I told you guys live bet Fiziev versus Gaethje. If Gaethje wins the 2nd round, he's won the fight because he's not losing the 3rd. Fiziev's exhausted. Make the live bet. And the MVPs who watch the videos all the way through, they won a ton of money. If you don't watch these videos all the way through, you're going to lose and miss because you're just going to blind tail the chart. Blind tailers are the worst MVPs I have. They're the ones who complain after we're celebrating a win. And they're like, oh, you missed. No, I didn't miss, buddy. You missed. You missed your chance to make money by not watching the video. So in this particular fight, I think it's a live bet fight. This is not a parlayable fight in any way, shape, or form. If you want to take Carli Judice because you think she's winning, that means you'd have to make her a lock and parlay it with something else to get to plus 100 money. I'm not cool with that at all. Not when the other person has a 100% finish rate, can put it on you, and you're a very hittable person. It's not good. Okay? If we're being honest, you need to see Duben get exhausted. But whoever wins the 2nd round is winning this fight. Now, that's if we get to the 2nd round. There's a very realistic chance Yuneisy hits harder than anybody's ever seen, and she keeps putting people to sleep. It's very realistic that she got a bunch of muscle over the last 4 years. Remember, we didn't see her fight from 2019 to 2024. We didn't see her fight. 5 years. And now you get into the UFC, you just win your Contender Series. What happened? You start training at the Performance Institute. You start training at your gym harder. You start getting ready for your UFC debut. And here it is. And you're fighting a girl who hasn't found a way to win, who might have low confidence, and who doesn't hit very hard. So when you get in there, you have no fear of what's coming back at you. And when you don't fear what's coming back at you, you can bite down on your mouthpiece and go get it. And I believe that is the cloth that Duben is cut from. So here's what I'm picking, but please understand, I just told you it's a live betting opportunity. I'm picking Duben, TKO or points. I believe she'll win the 1st round no matter what, just from sheer impact. And then if we go to points, it's a pipe dream. It's just the odds are way too wide. Do I think Carli Judice is a better fighter? Probably, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough from Duben. Anyone saying Duben has no cardio, she's not going to make it 3 rounds, she's going to drown, all those people, they might as well buy lottery scratchers. Like, they might as well just go out there and pick their favorite numbers on the lotto because they're not real. There's no way to know that. We've never seen it in the cage, so you don't get to predict that, okay? There's nothing there. All I can tell you is that after about a minute of the fight, of her last fight in the debut on the Contender Series for Duben. A minute in, she looked very winded. She looked like but she looked determined. And 10 seconds later, she looked victorious because she was standing over a sleeping opponent. So you still carry knockout power even when tired. That's pretty impressive. I understand if you're taking Judice, but if you're taking Judice at minus 390, good luck parlaying that with anything. That sounds absurd to me. Either avoid the fight, learn about these two fighters, or take the underdog and hope you hit. But I wouldn't put my hard-earned money on Judice and parlay that with anything else. I wouldn't do that personally. You do what you can handle. Some MVPs are better than others. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Remember, get to the server, get to the platform. We'll take care of you. Peace.